The methodology used by the Jewish state of Israel is often endorsed when European nationalists contemplate the correct formula for creating separatist ethnic states. Israel was created less than one average human lifetime ago, but it is now firmly entrenched as a state that would practically require a world war in order for it to discontinue existing. The Zionists were blatant about their desire to create their ethno-religious state. The proposal for a Jewish state in Israel was encapsulated in a widely distributed manifesto called Der Judenstaat, a pamphlet written by Theodor Herzl. The Zionists knew that they needed two things to establish a Jewish state in Palestine: resources and the gathering of a suitable population. And so, financially backed by Zionist elites and politically backed by the political class over which those elites held influence, Jews demographically transformed Palestine through incremental waves of illegal immigration and subsequently Palestinian Arab displacement. But the Jews who came to Israel were not just any Jews. They were almost exclusively Jews who were amiable to the notion of self-determination and autonomy for the Jewish people. Thus, Zionist leadership was confident that the Jews who were allowed to come to Israel were suitable stock to create the Jewish ethno-religious state. Young Euro-nationalists must understand that while the phrase demographics are destiny is certainly true in a general sense, the state would have practically zero chance of maintaining ethnic integrity over a long period of time unless the people within that state comprehensively understood that ethnic integrity is monumentally important in maintaining the cultural and political destiny of the nation. We must realize that most people of European stock do not view other members of their race as an extension of their family. Even the majority of white people who identify as right-wing or conservative refuse to believe or admit that race is the most basic and commonly unifying political and social bond. They do not understand or acknowledge racial kinship and how it pertains to nationality. They are stuck in the globalist, liberal, egalitarian mindset and are thus compromised sociopolitically, morally, and ideologically. And so, in order to create a European ethnic state or region that has any chance whatsoever of maintaining long-term ethnic integrity, European nationalists and our families in the colonies and elsewhere have a duty to congregate as a people and consolidate our forces. With very few exceptions, the demographics of a region dictate the dominant politics of that region. Therefore, we must leave demographically compromised areas where we have no future. But we must also leave demographically suitable regions that currently fall under the jurisdictional control of ideologically compromised state and local governments. Whether your family has lived in the region you currently live for centuries or not, whether leaving the region you inhabit feels like retreating or not, it's frankly irrelevant. Parts of my family literally helped build California, which was a 90% Euro-American, middle-class conservative paradise up until the 1970s. But now look at it. Even regions in California that are environmentally and demographically suitable for the European biospirit, such as the place I was born in Northern California, are enslaved by hopelessly compromised political and cultural institutions. Enough mistakes and betrayals have come to pass in the last 80 years, or about one human lifetime, to threaten the entire existence of Europeans the world over. Drastic times call for drastic measures, and the only way we can ever hope to seize autonomy and self-determination is if we make it happen for ourselves, just as the Zionists did. That said, great sacrifices are required. I'm not talking about armed resistance, which the Zionists did eventually partake in. I'm talking about taking direct action by gathering to build communities where we have greater control over our own destiny. We need to work to pool our resources and begin migrating to areas that are not just environmentally and demographically suitable for the European biospirit, but have a suitable political base to work with as well. We need to build communities based on our values and take care of our own. Such communities would not be legally exclusive to Europeans, but would be de facto exclusive due to the sheer presence of European nationalists in the region. Only loose plans are needed, and these plans must remain vague, so they are not identifiable by our enemies. The Zionists had a much more methodical and barefaced plan for the state of Israel. They had a significant amount of wealth and influence behind their effort. But the main reason they were successful in creating their state was because Jewish nationalists went to Palestine and created communities there based on their ethnoculture and preferred way of life. They demographically transformed the region and seized their own destiny. We cannot be so blatant and specific with any plans we endeavor in, especially in this age of information where any semblance of privacy is practically impossible to maintain. Ethnic nationalists often quibble over what laws and policies, economics, and exact methodology of gaining independence would be best for any theoretical ethnic state, but crystallizing the plan for these things is not as important as consolidating our power in numbers in a region. We all know demographics are destiny. An area largely peopled by European nationalists would be largely controlled by European nationalists. We could control our institutions. We could control our local and state governments. We could police ourselves, and we could operate our own schools. We could have our own space with our own ethos, a safe and nurturing environment for our people, and most importantly, for our future, our children. There are some 200 million people of European stock in my country alone. If just 1 in every 100 of us was suitable, the force would be 1 million strong. If we consolidate in a few regions, there would be very little that the government could do to effectively stop us from seizing political control. However infeasible it seems, I implore you to take action. Come to the places you know are suitable and start anew, because it is now or never. Surely it is risky putting many eggs in one basket, but the only alternative seems to be becoming a despised semi-nomadic minority group with no homeland that exists in isolated pockets all over the world. Sound familiar?